Rogers, I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we're going to talk about Batman Spider-Man from J.M. DeMatteis and Graham Nolan from 1995. You two were with me when we did Spider-Man Batman.
I was going to say, didn't we do this?
Yeah, no. Well, we did one like this. It was the first one. 1995, Marvel published a book called Spider-Man Batman, which was written by J.M. DeMatteis with art by Mark Bagley. We did that on Back Issues. It's a great episode. Click the card above Ben to see it. This is the sequel, kind of. It is a sequel in as much as it's another time that Batman and Spider-Man crossed over, and it's also written by J.M. DeMatteis, and it came out around the same year, and it also doesn't feature any goddamn clones. But almost nothing from the previous story is referenced, because I think DeMatteis wanted to have two separate stories.
Okay.
You know, he's like, I don't want to build off of the epicness of the Joker and Carnage fighting each other, and instead just tell a story that, like, I think he really wanted to tell. This is the DC version, by the way.
In the first story, Spider-Man was aware of who Batman was.
Yes, they both kind of coexisted in the same universe,
Yeah.
but never met before.
Yeah, because Batman's like, I don't go to New York.
Yeah, pretty much. And likewise, Spider-Man's like, I'm not going to Gotham. That place is crazy.
Although you have wonderful buildings that I can web off of.
That's true. He doesn't reference them, but he should. He should be like, wow, this is way better for web swinging. It's like it's built and designed for a lone vigilante to swing across it constantly. In this one, Spider-Man and Batman team up, and they go to wherever the hell Ra's al Ghul is. Because the story involves a crossing over of villains, much like the first one. First one had Joker and Carnage. This one has Ra's al Ghul and the Kingpin.
Yes, I was hoping it'd be Kingpin.
Well, yeah, because they both are, like, regular men who have
Yeah.
no superpowers, but have, like,
An
expansive means. Yeah, exactly.
I
An
immediately thought it was going to be Norman Osborn.
Yeah. Again, no. We talk about this in the Spider-Man Batman one, how it's like, the Joker should team up with Norman Osborn, but Norman Osborn was dead at the time, and they were going to resurrect him shortly thereafter. And Harry Osborn was also dead, so there were no goblins on the table.
Right. I was just thinking because sometimes Ra's al Ghul is portrayed in green, and Norman Osborn is the it's just kind of.
You know, if this were
Visually,
done,
it works.
Yeah.
If this were done like maybe 10 or 12 years ago or later,
Yeah.
they definitely would have done it like a Dark Reign kind of thing, where it's like you never see a goblin. It's just Norman Osborn in a
Yeah.
suit. They wouldn't have been afraid to do that.
That would have been cool because, like, okay, and don't tell me, but like in my head, Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul is just a pissing contest.
Nah.
I
mean,
think they're
it
too
would
intelligent
be
for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like Kingpin to me is always like hellbent on taking over the world, and Ra's al Ghul's like, no, you're so you don't get it. Like you don't even know what's happening. I've been around so much longer.
Yeah, it's a little. Well, Ra's al Ghul treats him like
A child,
a child.
like
Well,
a big man baby.
I mean, he looks like one, but like he's more like
Yeah.
Kingpin is only focused on I run New York, and that's enough for me. Like I'm happy with what I've got. And
Really?
Raish is like, yeah, but like you mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. The story opens with basically a like this douchey televangelist complaining about how like the world sucks. You know, there's floods and volcanoes and earthquakes and crime and graft and corruption and everything sucks. You must look to the sky and trust that like there is a savior coming for you. And he has like the sign of the mark of the demon on his palm, implying that he is a member of the League of Shadows, or at least employed by Ra's al Ghul.
Okay, because I was going to say that's not usually the televangelist you want.
No.
Like, I'm the televangelist for hell.
Yes.
Everyone praise Satan.
I was gonna say, is he a legitimate member or is he like think he's a part of it?
No, he's really...
Because I was gonna say that seems like really obvious.
Yeah.
And for the League of Shadows, I don't know. I figure you kind of want to.
Well, they're always wearing like those gauntlet covers, right? You never really see the palm of their hand.
That's true. Actually, that is true. And they do reveal them later, like Spider-Man and Batman beat up a couple of hoods and they like move their hand. And they're like, oh, Mark of the Demon works for Ra's al Ghul. We gotta go.
So
stop.
wait, when they're giving you your mark, they don't think to ask like, will you be wearing gloves all the time?
Well, I think it's more that this guy is brandishing an image on national television to imply, like, you don't even know what's up. You know, only people who are in the know are aware that the mark indicates Ra's al Ghul, and he's broadcasting to people in New York, and they don't even know who Ra's al Ghul is, because he's from a different universe!
No, I know, but even that mark in and of itself is like,
It's
Don't
a little
trust
telling.
this guy.
It's
Yeah.
a little telling.
But-
Also, don't trust his eyebrows.
No,
Yeah.
they're pretty extreme. Actually, when I first read it when I was a kid, I thought it was Ra's al Ghul, like impersonating a televangelist,
Right.
like to fool the New Yorkers. Nope, it's just a guy who looks like a little bit like.
It's
Ra's
just
al
a
Ghul.
guy. I mean, like, I love this whole sequence, and then, like, were I watching this, I'd be like, man, this guy's really intense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's with it. Oh, what's that on his hand? Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, he has like a hand tattoo.
I think that
Yeah,
man is
I'm
saving
over
a baby tiger because that is a big cat.
That's a big cat.
No, it's just
It's a Bengal.
It's a Maine Coon.
Yeah.
Thunk.
Yeah, they get big.
Yeah.
This cat is my entire torso.
It's Mrs. Norris.
The Kingpin's wife, Vanessa, who is, depending on when you're reading, his one true love and hopelessly devoted to him in a really, like,
Damn
you're going
it.
to Greece, aren't you?
The second you said it, I was like, hopelessly devoted to you.
It was
I'm
not where I thought you were gonna say, who is, and I was like, a bitch.
Yes. Well, like, is she though?
No, I know, but that's
But yes, I mean, like,
because
well,
there was such a
she's-
pause. I was like,
she's complacent in his evil doings because she's in love with him. Like, I feel bad, I guess, but also you're a criminal too. You're an accessory at the very least. But anyway, Vanessa, like, for the, I guess, 40 years of Spider-Man history at the time, Vanessa was like a yo-yo for Kingpin. She loved Kingpin, but like she couldn't stand what a criminal he was, so she kept leaving.
And then
but
coming
she,
back.
But then she loved him so much, she came back.
Sometime when she'd leave, she'd walk the dog.
Right.
Sometimes she'd go around the world.
Yeah, it was
each time
tumultuous.
she met with him, she's like, you still no hair?
Right. At least change that.
I mean, you have
There
all
are
this-
wigs, man.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Anyway, so the story opens with Vanessa having left him and Kingpin getting her back.
Yeah, okay.
He's just like, you'll never leave me. And she's like, it's true. Nah. And you're like, okay. And then we parallel that love story with Spider-Man and Mary Jane. And it's weird because, like, okay, so Graham Nolan's art, he's a DC artist. This is a DC published book. The first one was published by Marvel, so DC gets to do their own book. This is a decidedly Batman story. It's not unlike Batman Spawn,
Yeah.
where it was obviously a Batman script they had in someone's fucking drawer, and then they doctored it so that Spawn could be in it. Because that story is garbage. And not like Frank Miller entertaining garbage. Like, total shit. But it was just a past Batman story. This is, like, the framework for a rejected Batman pitch. So Batman, so Ra's al Ghul is using televangelists to convince the world to embrace him when he takes it over, and then Batman stops him. They're like, haven't we done that story, like, 1,000 times?
Wait,
And they're
is there
like,
more
yeah,
to that?
No.
Oh, yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, okay. But wait! We're doing a crossover! We're gonna charge double for this issue! We could just do that, and it doesn't matter when it takes place, whatever.
People will buy it because Spider-Man and Batman are both in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the story.
Doesn't matter what
Give
happens.
them the shitty one.
Yeah, I was so disappointed because, like, DeMatteis knocked the first one out of the park. It's fan service, it's fun, it's drawn by Mark Bagley at the top of his game at the time. He's gotten better since then, but still, great shit. This is just like DeMatteis wanted to tell like a smaller, quieter, like more intimate story that was more Batman-centric. But anyway, we meet Mary Jane and Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and Mary Jane's wearing the most conservative nightgown I've ever seen her in, bar none, in any Spider-Man comic.
Well,
she
got it from Aunt May.
She must have. This is an Aunt May hand-me-down because it is literally she is dressed like a Puritan. She has clothes all the way up to her neck, and like listen, in the 90s when Mary Jane went to sleep, she went to sleep like she was a Victoria's Secret model. Everything she wore was like from Fredericks of Hollywood.
You didn't even want to read the rest of the Batman story.
You were just like, oh, who cares?
I'm a Spider-Man story.
Yeah, but
She just
Tiffany.
looks comfortable.
she does.
I know. And look at her little cat slipper and
Yeah,
little paws on
that's
the
fun
bottom.
actually.
And they have the toes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Who
and-
didn't have a pair of those?
Weirdly enough, she's also talking about, like, finishing a term paper. I don't think she was in school at the time in any capacity, so... Which is hilarious because DeMatteis was also writing Spider-Man during 95, so, like, he would have known what Mary Jane was up to. I don't get it. Whatever. It's just a weird throwaway line, and it's kind of odd because it's the only appearance Mary Jane makes in the book, besides a nightmare vision in which she drowns to death. So, like, this is all you'll see of Mary Jane in this book, so it's just weird to focus on. She's very conservatively dressed, and she's working on term papers that she's never written in her life.
Well, it's either
So-
I'm going to go to bed, or I'm going to
Oh, but
do
she's
something
also
that's
married
pointless.
already.
Yes.
Did she go? Maybe she's getting her master's.
She's probably... Well, like, Spider-Man was in graduate school in the 80s and, like, early 90s.
Maybe she's writing his term paper.
That's more
That would be
likely.
hilarious!
She's working on his term paper so he can be Spider-Man.
But at least it's intellectual, not like, I'm gonna, do my hair.
Yeah. Yes, at least she's working on something. That's probably what it was.
I like that he checks in on her, like, hey, how's it coming?
Yeah.
Are you making sure this is double spaced? Because, I gotta
You
reach
get a couple
page
extra
limit.
pages.
It's due on Monday.
Yeah. Don't skimp on that works cited page. So, anyway, he's like, I gotta go be Spider-Man. I'll see you later. And he leaves. Mm-hmm. And then he returns and he's like, oh, and by the way, you're the greatest. And she's like,
Aww.
and hearts like fly out of her face because you're like, it's just cute.
It happens.
And then Spider-Man like swings around. He runs into some shady dealings in a warehouse. It's like every book you've ever read. And Spider-Man kicks their ass. And then he looks at their palms and he sees they have the mark of the demon. And he's like, I don't know what this means. And that's the story. Like, that's Spider-Man's adventure.
I like Spider-Man's adventure. That's really fair.
Yeah, he's just like, and he cracks a lot of whys about how no one's listening to him. And he also knows that this warehouse is run by the Kingpin, so he's trying to take down. And he's like, wait a minute, but Kingpin doesn't dabble with like weird demon palm tattoos. So anyway, then we cut to Gotham, and Batman is tracking down a lead because he heard that Talia is in town.
Ooh.
And he's like, ooh.
I kind of like that. Everybody's got their ladies.
Yes.
And I like that image.
Yeah. Oh, no. Nolan can draw a killer Batman. His Spider-Man is like a little bit of Romita meets not good.
Yeah.
And it gets more inconsistent the more the book goes.
Yeah, like, you want to tell me what angle his head is at? Like, if his body
is contorting in that direction. I mean, like, that... I don't complain about the positioning of Spider-Man's limbs, because that's how McFarlane made his money.
Oh, no. I have
But,
no problem with the limbs. Literally, his like, shoulders are here, and his... You know what I mean? Like, it's
I know.
Yeah.
Well, not only does his head, turn side to side, but it also, ratchets down a little bit to one shoulder.
Yeah, okay.
That way, well, it's like...
Well, spiders can do that.
It's mirroring the 90s woman pose, where it's like, I need to see your ass and your boobs and your weapon at the same time, along with your face. Spider-Man's like, listen, I'm doing this cool Spider-Man pose. You're gonna want to see this real estate, plus all the limbs. So I gotta defy physiological limits to make sure you see it all. Anyway, so Batman finds out that Talia's in town. He goes to meet her, and he's like, you should leave your father and be with me. And she's like, I can't do that. And you're like, I've heard this already.
Is she also going to bed?
No, that's just how she dresses. No, it's interesting, by the way, that Nolan decides to draw Mary Jane like a Puritan wife, but Talia is dressed, like...
Provocatively.
But she's always dressed provocatively.
Like she's going to her belly dancing class?
Yes, but she's always dressed like that, though. That's Talia. That's Talia to a T. So anyway, Talia...
Sometimes... In the animated series...
Batman, blasts into Talia's room, and he's like, I know you're here. And she's like, I am. And he's like, "Nah," and then they start making out. And then ninjas attack, and Batman kicks their ass. And he's like, I guess these were your bodyguards. And she's like, yep, my father's very protective.
Does he fight them while he's still making out with
No,
them?
he's not like... It's not like, like, shoot 'em up, I guess, with that sex scene where he kills everyone. But, no, he kicks their ass, and then he goes to make out with them some more. And he's like, your father will stop at nothing. And she's like, yeah, that's what he does. And he's like, listen, you should come back to the cave and we could totally bang. And she's like, I can't do that. Smoke grenade. And then she leaves. And he's like, damn it.
That is literally a panel I never want to see of Batman.
Oh yeah, well, because he's like, he's gonna come in and kiss her.
Well, that also sucks because his lips are not that nice.
No.
So if she's kissing him, she's getting mostly teeth.
I'm just saying, yeah, exactly. Also, it's like he's trying to kiss whoever's reading this.
Yeah.
Or you could feed him.
So, the reason why Talia ditches Batman is because she has a meeting with the Kingpin.
She does?
Yes. Talia is basically the face of racial.
It's a much better choice than actually rape.
It's true.
That's not true. He's a distinguished old, gentleman.
He's also a ruthless terrorist.
And he's crazy looking.
He is wild looking. Well, she's trying to influence the Kingpin.
I don't think the Kingpin's like, oh, Raish. Oh, you look
so
ravishing
distinguished
tonight.
He might appreciate his hair.
That's true.
He's like,
no, he'd be
I
jealous.
like that.
he's just touching his own hair.
Damn you! I don't work with anyone who is involved. So,
Kingpin every once in a while just is talking to someone and just starts touching their hair.
They're like, what are you doing?
I just miss it.
So
I can't do this to myself.
I can't remember what it feels like.
So Talia meets with Kingpin, and she's like, we need access to your shipping ports because my father is going to bring some heavy shit into New York. And he's like, yeah, I heard that your dad is like a terrorist and shit like that. I've got eyes and ears everywhere. I know all about like your enterprise and how it's totally not legitimate, and how your father's like an eco-terrorist and he wants to rule the world or something.
Oh, an eco-terrorist?
Yeah.
That sounds like a job for the Planeteers!
No!
Yeah. Earth.
Nope.
Wind!
Don't. No.
Heart.
She's like, yeah, my dad is going to take over the world, and like that's the plan. The plan is world domination. And he laughs in her face, and he's like, while you're staying here in New York, you can use the private like penthouse for as long as you like, but our business is concluded because I don't work with crazy people who think they can take over the world.
Yay.
And then as he's leaving her in his own office for no reason, she's like, oh, but like, do you work with crazy people who have cures for your wife's terminal illness? Because as it turns out, Vanessa now has like cancer and she's dying.
Hasn't she like always had that?
Yeah, well, she always had like a mysterious illness, but right now she has like an even more mysterious illness that looks like cancer.
She has the illness of necessity.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's always sick and in bed, and he's always like, my dear Vanessa.
And then she's like, you know what? No, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah! And then when he...
But actually leave you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sick again.
It's like he poisons her when
Yeah.
But to remind her, like, you can't leave. But anyway...
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's not what happens in this book. But, like, so she's dying of seemingly cancer. Spoilers, it's
That's not what happens. They're poisoning her.
Yeah. She's dying, and Talia's like, we have a cure for cancer. And so... And you're... By the way, the whole book, you're thinking, like, Lazarus Pit, right? Lazarus Pit.
Yeah.
No Lazarus Pits come into play in this book.
What?
No Lazarus Pits
That's
in a
the
Ra's
cure.
al Ghul book. No Lazarus Pits. What the hell's happening? So Batman is listening
Wait,
in
for
on their...
real?
Yeah, no Lazarus Pits.
See, that's why Norman Osborn would have worked so much better.
Yes,
because
he would have jumped in the Lazarus Pit and
Yeah.
then been like a goddamn Lazarus souped-up goblin.
Well, if it had just
It
been...
would have cured his goblin.
That's what I'm
and it
saying.
made him not
like,
crazy.
if Norman was having this like moment where he was just like, I don't want to be the goblin anymore.
Yeah! That would have been awesome.
And then he comes out and he's a goblin monster.
Yeah,
Like,
well...
only the goblin comes out.
Oh,
Norman is gone.
any of those is better than this story. Batman's listening in on our conversation because he tracked Talia to New York.
Of course.
And as he's listening in, Spider-Man shows up and he's like, I was wondering when you were going to get here.
My
Spider-Man's
bat
like,
sense tingled.
yeah. Spider-Man's like, so what's up? Like, you know, I thought we'd hang out. It'd be fun. He's like, this isn't fun what we do. It's not fun. He's like, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, though.
You're wrong.
Like, I'm dressed like a spider. You're just like a bat. It's kind of funny. And he's like,
And Batman's like, I'm sorry. What spider looks like this?
yeah, you're dressed like an American flag with evil eyes. I don't know how that's in any way spider. You have a logo that says spider. That's the smallest aspect of your suit. So Spider-Man and Batman have this little like tete-a-tete on the rooftop where he's like, I'm gonna take care of this, and Spider-Man's like, oh no you don't. Remember last time we teamed up? You said you could handle it on your own, and then it turns out you needed me, and we're not gonna do that. And he like puts his like hand in Batman's face, and he grabs his hand, and then Batman flips him over, and he's like, we could do this all day, or we could start this the way we ended it,
Or we could start making out.
or we could make it. They get right in their faces. Well, because Batman's intense.
I know.
But,
Batman's been waiting for a kiss that he never got.
That's true. He's like, I'll take it. I've been on this rooftop for like 8 hours, watching my girlfriend who didn't kiss me. So,
Spider-Man's like,
what? So,
Kingpin is your girlfriend?
so Spider-Man...
How have
basically-
I not found this out?
Spider-Man says, like, we should start this the way we ended it, with a handshake. And the two of them shake hands and then get to work. And then they kiss. Well, we don't see it. It's time jumps. So we assume they have like hardcore sex on the rooftop afterwards. So then Kingpin is doting over his dying wife Vanessa, and he's like,
whoa.
She is really sick now.
it got real serious real fast. Yeah, I told you. She's got like the cancer. She's dying.
That's not cancer. That's super cancer.
Yeah, it's ultra cancer because it's fake cancer. It's something else.
Right, but like,
Yeah, before she looked great. Now she doesn't.
Now she's
Like
practically a
Rogue.
mummy.
Yeah, now she looked like Rogue. Yes. Anyway, so she's dying. This is Nolan's art. I don't know. What can I tell you? So she's like,
Oh, she'd like insulted a gypsy and she got thinner.
yeah, that's probably what it was. Good timely reference. So she's dying, and he's like, I can't.
That's 95.
Yeah, that's true. I can't let Ra's al Ghul like do what he wants to do because what he's planning on doing is to flood New York.
With drugs?
No,
With
like flood it
water?
with water from the ocean. Like,
Isn't you just talked to Aquaman?
Yeah, I know. Why doesn't Ra's al Ghul make deal with Aquaman?
Or Namor.
It literally. Well, yeah. Well, I was
Or
gonna say.
Black Manta. I
Yeah.
was gonna say Aquaman wouldn't do
I was
it.
gonna say, like, if he worked with Aquaman or Black Manta, he would at least not have to jump universes to do it.
Yeah, but he could do Namor. You never know where Namor stands.
That's true. He'd be like, I'm feeling like another attack coming on. So, no. So Kingpin's like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna let you, like, flood the city. That's where I make all my money and where I keep all my stuff. But
I like the city as is, thank you.
But they promise a cure for Vanessa, and he's like, are you worth the lives of everyone in New York? And she's like, no, let me die.
And he's like, hey, shut up, I'm talking to myself.
That's right. So he's like, no. So anyway, he kills...
And then he calls up, he's like, wait, how high were you thinking? Because if I can get all my stuff on floors high enough...
Right.
It'll be fine. And screw everyone else.
Yeah. So,
then beachfront property.
That's true. Yeah, that's not Lex Luthor we're talking about here.
Well, he's bald.
So, yeah. So anyway, he ultimately gives in and he takes over. Like, he takes the job.
Of course he does. Because they need him to.
Yeah, because even though
he won't be able to make any more money, unless he's going to only... No. What? Like, no.
Yeah. Well, he takes the job because, like, he wants his wife to survive.
It's the nicest he's ever been.
Yeah.
No,
even
it's
though
selfish.
It is. That's what he is. He is selfish. That's right into his character, kind of.
It's, like, weirdly selfish. Because
It is weirdly selfish, isn't it? It seems suspicious.
Yeah.
So, Spider-Man and Batman have the conversation where, like... Okay, so Spider-Man and Batman talk about the exact same things that Kingpin and Talia are talking about, and the conversations, like, bounce back and forth. I don't know if DeMatteis is, like, playing with how story structure works. Like, ooh, let me see if I can have one conversation between 4 different people in 2 different locations and see if I can make that work. Spoilers, it doesn't really work, and it just kind of is confusing and weird. So, but you get to see Spider-Man and Batman swinging across the city, and that's kind of cool, only it's drawn by Grant Nolan, so it's not really cool, it doesn't look great. Anyway.
Wait, when did, I was going to say, when did Fifth Element come out? Because that's when you do that conversation really well.
Yes.
Multiple people are having the same conversation.
There's too many shots of Spider-Man's butt.
It's
hey,
excessive.
Speak for yourself.
I'm just saying, like, it's like, he's kind of butt. It's definitely butt. Lots of butt.
Major butt.
More butt.
Yeah.
It's a lot of butt.
It's a lot of butt.
So, Spider-Man's like, whoa, if you're saying that, like, the Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul are going to flood New York, like, I got to warn my wife. And Batman's like, or you could come with me and we just stop it. And Spider-Man's like, all right.
Oh, that's a better plan. Why
Yeah,
didn't I
so then
think of that?
he leaves with
Couldn't
Batman.
I just give her a quick phone call, like 20 seconds?
No, he does actually wind up meeting her at, like, their favorite diner, which, again, is not established in the comics, but...
He's like, hey, why aren't you working on that term paper?
Exactly. What are you doing
So the two of them
here?
go to a diner, Spider-Man and Mary Jane, and he's like, I have to go away for a few days, don't worry, and everything's going to be fine. And that's the conversation they have.
Classic diner food, she got a burger.
I was gonna
and
say,
fries.
but don't forget to drop the paper off under the door.
Yes.
Professor.
Well, depending on how well we do,
Because
you won't
if
have
we
to do it.
succeed, like, I'm going to need you to
It's
drop
still
off
going to
that
be
paper.
due, yeah.
Yeah.
It's this phantom paper.
You know,
So,
maybe it wouldn't be a terrible thing if New York got flooded.
Who the hell is that?
who's what, that?
No, this woman.
Oh, that's Vanessa. They're transporting Vanessa and the
Oh,
Kingpin.
she's wearing
like a
turban.
turban.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how does she have hair now?
She
Who's his
doesn't.
grandma?
Yeah, it's his wife.
Oh, it's Aunt May.
No, Aunt May.
Kingpin Aunt May, or, you know.
I think she's dead in this story. So,
Wow, Ben.
yeah, way to...
Hey, the Kingpin is a deranged man.
So Ra's al Ghul arranges transport for Kingpin and his wife to go to his secret place in, like, Tibet or whatever. And so Kingpin and, like, some goons and Vanessa, they, travel to Ra's al Ghul's lair. And Ra's al Ghul's like, Kingpin, I'm glad you're here. This is going to be great. Our team up is going to be awesome. Like, it's just going to be fun and cool. And, like, he really doesn't need Kingpin at all. There's no reason for them to team up at all. He literally doesn't need Kingpin. He has 1,000 ninjas at his disposal. He can just kill Kingpin and then pretend to be him when he needs to make the phone calls to get things through his stripping board.
That would take a lot of ninjas to pretend to be the Kingpin.
Yeah. Yes, they
you
all-
you gotta fill a suit.
12, it's a dozen ninjas in one trench coat. So, but what the idea is that it's like a power play.
Yeah.
Like Ra's al Ghul wants to have dominion over King. He wants to, like, convince this powerful man to, like, bend to his will, that kind of thing. But he treats, and he also thinks the Kingpin's kind of a dimwit. Like, you're so small-minded. You control New York. I'm going to control the world one day. It's like, well, you really don't control anything, though. You control, like, seemingly 100 ninjas in many different locations at one time. Like, that's not anything. But anyway, so Ra's al Ghul is like, I'm going to give you the cure to your wife's cancer after I make you decide to kill your city. So like they've got all the things in place to like start the flooding, and it's all triggered by one master button, and he's like, Kingpin, you're going to push the button that's going to trigger the destruction of your city. Anyway, so while Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul are getting acquainted, Ra's reveals that two of Kingpin's goons are actually Spider-Man and Batman.
What?
In their patented Batman face masks.
How did they get to Tibet?
They were the goons on the plane with Kingpin.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Yes, they're both wearing their masks
No!
under the human face masks.
So, like, the Batman one kind of works because he has the nose and the
And
lips.
a real face underneath.
Right?
Spider-Man's face makes... There's no... He just didn't say anything the whole time.
Mike, how come you're not eating your in-flight meal?
You're hungry? Oh, you're gonna barf. Here's a bag. Yeah, it's
ridiculous. How do you have eyes?
yeah.
How do you have...
Well, he sees
He didn't
through-
blink the whole time.
Yeah,
They were just painted on?
I guess so. Yeah. Mike, you are intense because not only were they wearing these masks, they were masks to impersonate real people that they replaced. So the other goons knew them and conversed with them the entire ride from New York City to Tibet. Damn it. So they take off their disguises and then fight ninjas.
Okay.
And this is my favorite moment in the book, by
But,
the
like,
way.
they have the advantage because they're all trying to figure out.
Well, no, because Ra's actually knew. Ra's betrays. He knew they were them the whole time.
He's like, guys, seriously?
yeah. But of course,
He didn't
how could
blink.
he not?
He didn't blink at all!
Yeah.
This man
That
has not
guy
blinked
has
for 12 hours.
Yeah, that guy is definitely in Batman's employ, and I'm assuming because he's so close to that guy's Batman. So they rip off their costumes and then they fight ninjas, and it's fun because like they're in Tibet and they're battling like these bad guys. And Spider-Man's like, this is awesome. I feel like Hope and Crosby in The Road to Utopia, just like an old school movie. But it's not the movie's not called Road to Utopia. It's called The Road to Morocco because Batman has a actually moment where he's like, actually, it's The Road to Morocco. And it's a cute little moment because
where they both enjoy old
they
cinema.
both like
Okay.
old movies.
And where Batman acts like an asshole.
Yeah, Batman's right. He's like, I have to be right. So,
Oh, you don't understand. I know everything.
yeah.
I don't mean
And I'm first.
to go back to this, but this dude's face is
He's like, he is so surprised.
it's like he told the Spider-Man goon like all of his most personal
Yes,
secrets.
and
He
he's
was
like, I'm actually Spider-Man. He's like, no!
He's like, you were such a good listener.
You were going to be my best man at my wedding!
Mike!
I
You
shared,
can't do this to me!
I shared so
things
much of
with
myself.
you that I've never shared with anyone.
Yeah, and it's all fake.
You had honest eyes! You didn't look away once!
Yeah. Oh my god, I was asleep the whole time. So, Spider-Man and Batman beat up the goons, and they, like, talk. You know, they talk about, like, old movies, and he's like, you like old movies? And Batman's like, yeah, when I was young. But everyone made their escape while they were beating up the thugs, and this helicopter takes off, and they're stuck, like, in this, like, valley of this big mountain, and Spider-Man's like, you don't happen to have, like, a bat plane in your utility belt or anything? He's like, no, I don't, and he throws him, like, a coat. Spider-Man's like, great.
Well, I can't web out of here.
Nope. So then, actually, Batman grabs onto Spider-Man's back and he climbs up the mountain. But then there's an avalanche and they have to, like... there's an avalanche, it knocks them out, and then Batman carries Spider-Man's unconscious body into a cave and, like, lights a fire.
That's why I rode you, is so that when we got into trouble, I'd have all the energy
That's
to
right.
save us.
Yeah. So then we randomly cut back to Vanessa and Talia, because the women have to have their own scene.
Right, and her outfit is sexier than it was before.
Yes, and they also gave Vanessa an equally sexy outfit for no reason.
Yeah, what gives?
Well, because that's all they have. All the women's... They only have one woman on the compound, and it's Vanessa. I'm sorry, it's Talia, and she only wears sexy...
There's lots of other ladies, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
they are wearing
But
much
they wear
less.
They wear
Yeah.
all of Talia's other clothes. The reason for this scene between Talia and Vanessa is for Talia to get to know and like Vanessa.
oh, okay.
So then Ra's and Kingpin have their little conversation. He's like, okay, now that we're back at another stronghold of mine, we can finally get down to business.
And then Kingpin has a moment where he has a spider sense.
He's just surprised.
This is
Lines.
I love him, like, all the ladies, and Kingpin's like...
Just eating food.
This giant
I'll
leg
have
of lamb.
all the ham.
Yeah, he really... There's 3 suckling pigs at his disposal. And he is just like a fucking wampa in the goddamn special edition of Empire. Like eating a tauntaun. And it's funny because I can imagine Raish being like, gross.
You might want to chew.
I'm trying to get laid here.
I have no time to chew.
Yeah, he's like, my wife is dying. So,
I have to console myself somehow.
when I get upset, I eat.
You
I was
must be
upset a lot.
all
Yeah.
the time.
So then, he's like, listen, I'm not interested in like your ridiculous I'm not interested in doing all this bullshit, jump through hoops. Just give me my wife's fucking cure so I can leave. The reason he gets really upset is because Raish reveals that he's like, your wife isn't dying of cancer, she's dying of a disease that I manufactured and lured you here to use, like, my...
When did they give it to her?
Like, when they weren't looking.
When they weren't looking.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have been because we don't actually see that scene. So, Kingpin freaks out and he attacks Ra's al Ghul and he's like, what man is capable of such depravity and cruelty? And Ra's like, you? And Kingpin's like, oh, well played. I will accept your offer.
Oh, you insulted me. I like you.
That's so dumb.
What?
So, the two of them, like, team up.
They stop hugging and then they team up.
Yep.
And then they hug some more.
So then Ra's takes Kingpin to, like, his, like, the epicenter of his, like, world-destroying New York flooding compound or
Right.
whatever.
Vanessa's still dying, though.
Yeah, she's still gonna do. Well, he has the cure, right? He's like, I'm gonna give you the cure. I tricked you into coming here by telling you I have a cure for her cancer, but it turns out she doesn't have cancer. She has a disease that I gave her, so I obviously have the cure. So don't worry about it. So
Well,
now they're here.
And I'm sorry, now why does he need him again?
He just wants him to kind of like fall in line and work with him. He's like, you're a powerful man, and I have control over you, and I want you to just demonstrate that I have power over you.
I guess he still wants him to push the button.
Yes. And he's like, there's the button, push it. And so Kingpin's like, and he's about to, and then Spider-Man webs his hand, and everyone's like, oh, but we left you to die in the caves. How is this possible?
And how'd you even get in here?
And Spider-Man makes a fat joke.
And what's funny is Spider-Man's in the compound. They can't see Batman, and Spider-Man's like, how did you even? Or Gracious like, how did you even know where this was? And then he looks at Talia, and he's like, we'll discuss this later. All right, guards, like shoot Spider-Man. And then
I know you made out with Spider-Man somehow.
yeah, so then. So then Spider-Man, like, he distracts all the guards, and while everyone's, like, fighting, Kingpin and Ra's, like, go over to the console, and Ra's like, I believe you were about to punch in the code that was going to destroy Manhattan. And then Kingpin hits a button which blows up the satellite that's going to cause the wave instead of creating
No,
it.
can't be a satellite because they needed shipping lanes for
Yeah,
some reason.
Yeah. No, they needed that to bring in equipment that would build whatever. It doesn't matter. So the shipping lanes were a pretense. It was just, we want to work with you. And it's like, actually, we want you to help us take over the world.
Okay, so the shipping lanes were just...
It's just
Yeah,
bullshit.
but if
they were a red herring.
Yeah,
But
if you will.
But if they destroy the city that Kingpin draws his power from...
Right, he's no longer powerful.
So then what's the point of
Well,
working
but
with
then he's like a smart guy who like works with him now. Whatever.
Maybe Ra's was like, no, I don't like the fact that you're a powerful man. You think too much of yourself. I'm going to take you down a peg or two by having you take away your own power.
That could be. I mean, like, I think the idea is the selling point for the pitch from Ra's is, I'm going to take over the world, and I'm going to need, like, lieutenants who will help govern certain areas of that world. And
But
I
I'd
will
rather them be single, so I'm giving your wife a
No, I'm just tricking him.
disease.
I gave her the disease so that he would be lured into Ra's employ in the first place. So then Ra's like, wait a minute, how did that even blow up? Like, that was the button that would have triggered the satellite, not blown it up. And
Oh.
Spider-Man's like, oh, you would have needed like a super genius to have reprogrammed the computer. I wonder who that could have been. And then like over his shoulder is Batman with Vanessa.
So... Oh, see, I thought the moment was Kingpin was like, no, screw you. You don't have power over me. And he hit the button to destroy it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Batman reprogrammed the satellite, and Kingpin triggered it, because it turns out that, like, after Talia gave Kingpin the ultimatum, Kingpin called Spider-Man and Batman, and then hired them, more or less, to infiltrate Ra's thing. He was just using Ra's to get the cure in the first place.
Nope.
That's okay.
That
That's
sucks.
pretty Kingpin, though.
Yes.
That's very Kingpin.
Hiring Batman and Spider-Man.
Well, just like he's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Doing whatever it takes
He's like, listen,
to get what he wants.
the world is going to end. You have to get involved. Like, I don't have to pay you or
The
anything.
world's not going to end. All that's going to happen is New York's going to get flooded.
Fuck that!
That is his world.
Yes, exactly. Good call.
That's Spider-Man's world. Batman's like,
No, but
and?
that's Kingpin's world. Like, I think that Kingpin would 100% do that. He's
Yes.
like, I'm in too deep.
Yes.
And I am not going down like that.
Right. Yeah, no. He's like, there's this eco-terrorist I've learned, and he has eyes and ears everywhere, as he explains
Right.
earlier in the book. He's like, I know how capable and how far-reaching Ra's al Ghul is. I know that I can't beat him on my own. So I need, like,
And
these two
Spider-Man's a
people.
sap.
Yeah, and Spider-Man's a tool, and he'll listen to me. And he does. So, Spider-Man and Batman and Kingpin and Vanessa are like, ta-da, we beat you. And Rachel's like, very well! Well played!
What?
Brilliant! A masterstroke of strategy. You're free to leave.
That was worth billions of dollars
Yes.
to have a good laugh.
Yes.
That's it?
That's it. And then they're like, and we'll take the cure. He goes, oh, there isn't one. LOL! So then they leave.
and then Vanessa dies!
And then Kingpin just punches his head off his shoulder.
Well, it's
right?
funny. He's gonna attack him, and Vanessa goes, "Stop, Wilson! Just let me die if it'll end this. Like, end this comic, because it's goddamn gone on too long. Like,
Couldn't Batman
just
and
synthesize a cure?
Spider-Man.
Who are both brilliant and geniuses and, like, science-based, create a cure? Yes, they could.
How about the fact that they have access to Raish's computer, so clearly when they're reversing, like, the keystrokes
Yes.
so that it blows up the satellite instead, oh, I also hacked all your files and I have the information of how you synthesize
Any
this
of those
disease.
could have worked. Instead, Talia gives the cure to Batman, and Batman gives the cure to Spider-Man, and Spider-man gives the cure to the Kingpin.
Rich,
Okay,
Rich
that's-
said there was no cure.
Yeah, no, he was just lying. He was just being a dick. So, then,
This book is being a dick.
I think Ra's al Ghul wrote this book.
yeah. It's just like, it's needlessly circuitous. Like, it's like, oh, but then this, and then this. It's just, the reveal is in my favorite moment where Spider-Man and Batman are talking about, like, old, like, globe-hopping Bob Hope movies. Because that's what DeMatteis wanted to do. He wanted to have, like, a, like, Sierra Madre, you know, Golden Monkey kind of story with Spider-Man and Batman. It's just like, he's not able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, because he thought, okay, I got Ra's al Ghul, I can do that.
Right.
Because he lives in ridiculous places.
Right. He's like, I'm writing The Last Crusade. You're like, no, you're not.
No, you are not. Yeah,
no, I
you are
really
not
am.
doing.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, this is going to be like Indiana Jones with Batman and Spider-Man. Like,
But, like, both of them are indie.
Yeah, like, that's a pitch. This didn't work. Which is why I'm so glad, number one, it came second, but I'm also disappointed it came second, because, like,
You were hoping it would be good.
it's my favorite characters, and when I picked up Spider-Man Batman, I was like, fucking yes! Oh, it gave me everything I wanted. It was total fan service. Then they made this one, I'm like, sold! Read it, I'm like,
What the hell?
damn it! And then I read it again, and I'm like, nope! And I keep reading it, and I keep going, damn it! This is not as cool as it wants to be! Because it wants to be cool, and there's a few moments where Spider-Man and Batman are, like, on page together, and you're like, these are all promises of something cooler, but it never delivers. Because nobody wants to see, like, Treasures of the Sierra Madre with Batman and Spider-Man. Or if you do, then give it to somebody who knows how to tell that story. It's just, it's weird, and the villains are just not that interesting. Are you still talking about Spider-Man and Batman wearing human masks?
I am.
Because it's literally a throwaway moment.
It so doesn't work.
No,
I'm sorry. Nothing in this
No,
book really works. This is the
that
moment that I'm
doesn't
like,
work the most.
What?
Well, I love...
How many hours?
There's one moment that I love where Spider-Man is pulling the mask off, but his human hand is off. So he's just wearing a Spider-Man glove.
No, when did he take
So
that?
it's like, you're Spider-Man. How did you know? Because you're wearing a Spider-Man costume and a man mask over it.
I was wearing human gloves, too.
No, those are just red gloves. Red gloves with little spider webs on them.
I bought them at Target.
I bought them at Target.
So,
Oh, and the preacher is just like a narrative
Yeah,
device.
they are talking. So what was did his human mask have hit the mouth just always kind of? He was just constantly always kind of smiling like yeah.
Well, okay, listen. Like maybe the mask is like an extension of his face, and like there's wire work that attaches around the mask.
Mike, your mouth's not moving, but you're talking to me. I'm practicing ventriloquism.
Oh, cool. There's so much I'm learning about you today, Mike.
You are fascinating.
Yeah. So anyway, Batman, Spider-Man. I don't think it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, this is a cool image. I wish Batman,
There's so many of those!
Batman's dominating this because then that speaks it more of
A DC
who's-
book?
Yeah, he's dominating this image, but this is a cool image.
Yes, I want the promise of that image.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I love one of the things that I love the most. This cover leaves something to be desired, right? You're like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of neat. But then when you flip it over and it shows the silhouettes, they drew Batman in such a way that when you silhouetted it, it's just the bat symbol.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
That's kinda
And Spider-Man is a guy. So like
And
he doesn't
Spider-Man looks like he's falling out of the sky.
yeah. It just looks like the bat signal with a guy lying on top of it. Like, but this is fine. It's one of the things that actually you can't get away with anymore. Like if Marvel and DC got their heads out of their asses long enough to actually do a crossover in 2017, they wouldn't be able to get away with a little story about Spider-Man and Batman fighting the Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul.
No, it would be an epic.
It would have to be. Like they wouldn't be able to help themselves, and they give it to like somebody huge.
Do you know what's cool about what you're talking about here?
Yeah.
Is that Spider-Man looks better here than Batman in the day, like in the
Yes,
light. And
but then in the night,
yeah.
Batman looks better.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's cool. And what's funny is Graham Nolan clearly can draw. He's a good artist.
Yeah. And
But he's not used to drawing Spider-Man.
no, but by the end, like you can see he found his stride.
Yes, and it's unfortunate that literally he gets to draw Spider-Man for 3 more pages.
Yeah, like that's fun.
Yes, yeah, he builds himself a little web hammock to talk. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking stand.
It's not what I do.
I hang, but this place is cavernous.
If I stand, then clearly Batman is going to see how tall I am and be like, "You're Peter Parker." I already know.
I already figured it out.
He already knows.
He already knows. There's no way. He literally has files on the back computer about Maximum Carnage. There's no way he doesn't know that he's Peter Parker. Photo by Peter Parker? Yeah, that's him. What? That's all you needed to know? Who else would take... Like, how would that be possible?
The only thing that
Who else would get so many pictures of Spider-Man?
And from that angle.
the only thing that he can't figure out, he's like, but how did you get Mary Jane?
Yeah. Because I'm a good guy, you jerk!
He's like, but was she a supermodel or an actress?
She's
or
both.
I know, but I'm just saying. He's like,
Yeah.
what does she wear to bed? I don't understand that.
You're not a billionaire playboy. How did you do this?
Yeah. I get how I get Talia.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
I'm motherfucking
And
Batman.
Spider-Man's like, wait, do you get Talia?
I mean, like... No.
Ha-ha! Spider-Man for the win!
He's like, but I could. And I could Catwoman.
And I do get Catwoman. Once in a while, we go on a rooftop and bang.
You know, once in a while, Black Cat and I have a little thing, but don't tell Mary Jane.
Yeah.
You don't actually have a thing.
No,
they
it's
used to have a thing.
It's like a back and forth. It's mostly dialogue.
Batman Spider-Man is the last of the Batman Spider-Man crossovers.
For now.
I would, from your mouth to the editorial team, I gotta tell
Hey, you have the cover for the next one.
Yeah, that said, Tiffany commissioned a amazing image of the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
Of Batman
We're not gonna
Spider-Man
show you.
crossover. I could throw it up on the screen. Don't think so?
No.
All right.
That's my tape. That's yours.
That's true.
You
But-
guys, you'll see
Maybe
it.
you'll see it in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's by Mark Bagley. It basically just gives the old team another chance. I would give
Yeah.
it to a different writer this time.
Yeah, maybe. I think DeMatteis is beyond that at this point.
I think he's done. Yeah, I mean, not done writing.
Not done. No, but I don't know if
He doesn't want to write another Spider-Man story.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't blame him either.
No.
But so Marvel, you want to do it? We got a cover.
We got a cover. We just gave you.
We
all
have
these ideas.
1,000 pitches ready to go.
Do the Black Hat Catwoman one. That's a great comeback.
Yes, but at least for Here on Back Issues, thanks a lot for watching this episode, everybody. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. I am Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thanks for watching and keep on reading.